There's no decision to be made. If you're not with me, I'll just let it float away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. Yeah, I'll let it float away. Float away, float away. Yeah, I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. Yeah, I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. Float away, float away. Yeah, I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. when I see you in the morning, will you still want to be true? I can dream, I can dream that we'll see a brighter day. And I'm alive, more alive than I've ever been your way. And I'm alive, more alive than I've ever been your way. And I'm alive, more alive than I've ever been your way. And I'm alive, more alive than I've ever been your way. Well, I can dream that we'll see a brighter day. I can see in your eyes breaking through.
You've been far away. What have you got to say? My heart is on display, but I'm not afraid. Yeah, I'm not afraid. Why you been getting busy? I've been getting dizzy, trying not to keep you in mind. Now I'm 35 and suddenly enticing since you came back in my life. I've been waiting for you, been waiting for you, been waiting for you. I've been waiting for
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Picks and Bans here in the Week 4 EU Showmatch between Taco Bell Esports Academy on the blue team and Death to Weebs on the red. I am Nibiria. I'm joined here by Penguin God. How's it going, Penguin?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Pretty all right. It's a nice Sunday afternoon here for us in NA, but for everyone in EU, it's about 8:15 p.m., I think, for the UK. So,
hmm We have a nice little EUS show match here, as you said, between Team Taco Bell Academy and a Death to Weebs. This is a pretty good matchup here, and you will see here that um, nothing really surprising coming out of these bands. A lot of mid lane focus coming out from Death to Weebs here, and the Janna ban, of course, because Janna Banana is broken and Poppy pickup was the last pick for Team Taco Bell Academy, and Camille was third picked for Death to Weebs. Malachi was the first pick out of Team Death to Weebs on their side, and Cho'Gath was the first pick for Taco Bell Academy.
mhm.
And wow, they are going through these really fast.
Yeah, they
Holy moly!
usually at least give us realistic time to talk about the picks and bans. So Cho'Gath Maokai, pretty strong tops. Camille Poppy, jungle.
Yeah,
See, I'm getting confused by the meta shift. Pretty strong jungle picks. The top picks are pretty strong as well.
yeah. It's pretty interesting how Cho'Gath and Maokai can be flexed in the top lane and the jungle repeatedly over and over again. And you often see them flip flopping between the two roles without any trouble, really. Uh, and with that, you get a lot of possibilities that you can get with Cho'Gath and Maokai. Maokai can easily go top lane, has that pressure, and he can easily go jungle as well. And
Hmm.
he has that super high gank potential with a twisted advance and the grasping roots. Tristana pickup always really good, nice hyper carry, and the Twitch is going to be picked up as well, along with we already know it's a Braum support here, and then Hyper Engine Bob picking up the Nami for himself. So we're going to talk about these comps real quick because holy moly, it's hard to talk about single picks when they pick them in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. So Taco Bell Academy has a nice front line and a nice back line. They have a lot of good wombo with the Oriana Cho'Gath, and the Poppy can just send everybody back in team fights, giving them pressure on neutral objectives like Dragon and Bear. And the Braum also works really well with the team cup because he can just press R and hit everybody, and Twitch can hit everybody with his auto attacks. With that, we have a super good dive comp coming out actually from Team Death to Weebs here. With the Camille and Maokai can press simple buttons, go on the backline, and get there. And Twisted Fate can ult in the backline if he needs to, or he can just hit the backline from a super far distance. Same with Tristana. And Nami just sits back, provides CC and peel for the carries, while the two divers are distracting the rest of the other team, trying to layer CC and damage so that Tristana and Twisted Fate can just blow up the carries.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of pick potential here from DTW with the Camille being able to close long gaps very quickly with the hookshot wall dive, Twisted Fate with his ultimate destiny, and Tristana with rocket jump. Already just in those three, there's mobility of a few hundred units bare minimum for each of them. Twisted Fate can go across the entire map.
Yep.
And anyone who's seen Camille play knows that she can travel what feels like the entire map in half a second, but it'll be dangerous for Taco Academy to travel around without any ward coverage. They're going to need to focus on their vision game and make sure it's up to par
Yeah.
because all CWL on Twisted Fate needs to do is just hit alt, and if they find a pick, that person is likely dead if they're all in the area.
Yep. It's going to be pretty interesting to see if they can play around it because Twisted Fate brings a lot of utility to games with that ult. Considering you see every single member on the enemy team, a lot of teams actually use it to check and see if a team is doing Baron at some point, and to possibly warn them off of it if Twisted Fate's really far ahead. I've seen Twisted Fates just absolutely blow up carries in one hit without any counterplay available after he teleports in. But with the team comp coming out of TBA, I don't see a whole lot of protection for Oriana and Twitch other than the Oriana herself. Poppy and Shogath don't really provide any shields or heals. Braum does for a brief minute, and he provides that armor and MR from his Get Behind Me, and that shield wall coming up will help as well. But other than that, there isn't a whole lot of peel and protection from these teams.
Well, the nice thing about having a Tristana, at least on the side of DTW, is that they can Tristana can keep herself safe between
Yeah.
Buster Shot and Rocket Jump. She can keep that distance that her passive provides her. I think she gets up to 650 range, I believe. Not 100% on that.
She gets
Whereas
slightly higher
Twitch,
than
on the other
Caitlyn.
hand, really only has his Q to position safely, and that's just a camouflage. So if anyone gets close to him, he's kind of toast without the peel.
Yep. But with that, we're going to send it over to a quick break, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into Game 1 between Death to Weebs on the red side and Taco Bell eSports Academy on the blue side. It is Game 1 here in the Week 4 EU Showmatch of Learning Fives. I'm Nibiria. I'm joined by Penguin God, and before I let him get a word in edgewise, we're going to do a rundown of the teams. On the blue side, we have Taco Bell eSports Academy, as I said, with Fee Fu Fum in the top lane, Razion in the jungle, Bursting Nemesis on mid lane, Box AD carry, can't support all on support. Hopefully he'll try. Meanwhile, on the red side, we have DTW, Death to Weebs, with Gerhard QWE in the top lane, Darth Jeebus in the jungle, CWL in mid lane, ET Meta on AD carry, and Hyper Ungen Bob on Nami support. Hoping to see a nice, exciting game between the two teams. Another 5-point opener here from both teams, it looks like. Just getting some river vision. Nothing too exciting yet.
Yep. I do know that top laner for DTW likes to be called Gerard. Much simpler than Gerhard, and a little slightly simpler. But anyway, simple starts out of these junglers. Maokai easily starts those raptors on his own with those saplings. Gets a lot of damage off on those, and then Raizon getting some help from his bot lane. Hopefully gets it, and then Twitch Poison doesn't. But these stars are going to be pretty standard from both of these teams. Nothing too surprising coming out so far. Runes and Masteries all look pretty simple. I didn't see Brahm's Mastery because I wasn't didn't have time to look, but hopefully he took Wonderstone. Oh no.
Camille getting pretty low here in the top lane already, but good return damage onto Fifu. Gonna have to watch this top lane. It might be where the first blood is gonna happen.
Yeah, I think so. This Maokai is on that side too.
Gerhard hitting level 2 first, getting the stun with a hookshot wall dive. Fifi getting pretty low. Precision strike, not enough to finish him off though. Corrupting potion, definitely a plus for Gerhard.
Yep. And it's pause. Wouldn't be a show match without a pause.
Why? Every single time.
I don't understand it.
At this point, I think they're just trolling us.
I think so, but I think teams sort of use pauses a lot because they're not used to having pauses. Having that ability to say, "Oh, I'm lagging. Can we pause the game?" Um, and just being able to do it is a really nice feeling for them. I think that might be part of it, but
I'm reporting all these players for abuse of power.
yeah, clearly.
No more pausing.
It's just like people having issues with um, pro players using pauses for
Hashtag bathroom
breaks.
breaks.
Yeah, which honestly is a whole ridiculous thing because like, why would you be mad that players need to use the goddamn bathroom?
Dear God, they have bladders. How dare they?
I know,
How dare
especially
they
when
have
they're
proper human
especially
anatomy?
when they're in game 3 or 4 of best of 5 when they only have 10 minutes between games and those 10 minutes
Oh yeah.
are spent talking about pick and ban and the game. Like it's so frustrating to me to think that people uh, would do that um, to these pro players who are literally just doing what they do for the competition and for entertainment. But anyway,
I like imagining the workarounds they'd like to use, though.
yeah.
You know, like, do they want? I think they want the players to go to the bathroom breaks, like in between games, but with like a walkie-talkie, so they can still do pick ban.
That could
It's just
work.
like, Huhi, you're on open mic right now. Can you not? We don't want to hear that.
We don't. Pookie, please.
Huhi, please, buddy. Oh, Fifu having a flash there.
Nah, that was close.
Gerard
yeah.
doing some damage.
It's an odd situation there. But we have our game going on. Who cares about pro when you are sitting here and learning fives?
Exactly. That's why you're here instead of Dignitas versus TSM. We might actually have a higher quality of play.
Maybe.
I can't say that anymore. It makes me sad.
It makes me
Once
sad.
upon a time, I could have said that about Dignitas.
Yep. Dignitas has let me down one too many times, so
Trust the process, man. Trust the
I
process.
choose not to put my faith in them, to be honest. But anyway, we aren't here to discuss pro teams. We are here to discuss our learning fives teams. And in this game, we are not seeing anything too major right now. I do want to point out there is a nice about 10 CS lead for Burning Nemesis here. But that doesn't really hurt CWL a whole lot because of that passive coming out from Twisted Fate. He can lose a little bit of CS and still be even in lane because he gets that extra gold from his passive.
Yeah, right now the gold lead is still at 100 for those two laners, but a gank coming in from the backline. Bursting Nemesis getting stunned up, using that cleanse already. Raytheon, meanwhile, coming in from the backline, trying to get the rupture, but it's going to go wide. So Burning Nemesis having to burn his cleanse, but nothing else.
And there you guys see the power of cleanse on these champions that don't have a whole lot of defensive potential for themselves. Having that way to just get out of hard CCs like that is super important. And that prevents him from dying. It's a summoner spell that's on a relatively low cooldown, so getting that summoner spell up every couple minutes is going to be really important for him. So, but now he has to play safe in this lane, although the wave is pushing into him, which is a good thing for him. Gerard pushing that wave in as expected, about 5 CS up in this lane, other than the mid lane matchup.
Maokai invade, getting hit up by the Winter's Bite. An interesting thing, though, you were mentioning that the cleanse is a short cooldown. Gold card is a shorter cooldown, but that's not what's important here. What's important here is seeing the pathing that's going to come out from Darth Jeebus, because he has two very strong potential gank lanes. He can gank either the top lane, which does not have flash or teleport, or the mid lane, which has flash but no cleanse left.
Yep.
And he has to decide which is going to give a better advantage to his team and which is an easier kill. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Gerard and Fifu. Jeez, that is a hard name to do on first glance. Scrapping it out a little bit, as ever.
You look at the name and you're like, what?
Yeah, you want to say Fi, because it's F-I, but then there's another I, so it's like we.
Yeah, it's.
I don't want to play this game.
I don't want this. I quit. See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have relatively even start, only a couple hundred gold difference coming out by Taco Bell Academy, and seeing these team's matchup is pretty interesting. There aren't any kills going over the first 6 minutes of the game, but that is to be expected. But neither of these teams have a whole lot of early kill potential, minus Camille. And you saw that she got pretty close to killing off Fifu Fum there.
Yeah.
But had to burn his flash. Burning Nemesis's cleanse is already about 2/3 of the way up. And the teleport is about halfway for Fifu Fum. And Gerard is out of mana in this lane though, so you see him going back. Likely gonna teleport back into lane with some items. Grab the Phage, gonna teleport into lane. And Burning Nemesis taking a nice trade here.
Yeah, a little bit of scrapping between the two of them, but no kill going down, unfortunately. Not quite as bloodthirsty as we're used to here in Learning Flies. Oh, nice double bubble there from Hyperungen.
So interesting thing about that is if Cancel Port All hadn't put up a shield there, that would have missed him and only hit the Twitch. So if he had waited a split second for the bubble to actually land, he could have put up his shield after and still been able to move. But that's not really a big deal because he put a shield up anyway. So that shield stops projectiles in their tracks, just drops them. So the bubble hit there and dropped down and hit that spot, and another bubble hit there.
Demonstrating the mechanic as you're explaining it. These are lovely players for us. Stun going down onto Razion. Razion might fall here. It looks like he's getting the shield from Bursting Nemesis, but will it be enough? A Q going down, a flash auto, gonna be enough to kill him. Darth Jesus with the first blood.
Nice job. Now you see the gaking potential and the kill potential out of the Maokai. He does a surprising amount of damage for being basically a full tank. And CWL is doing a nice roam.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's so good.
Oh yeah. He always has been ever since the rework. Back in I think season 2 was the first time he was relevant with the old ult.
Yeah.
But then as soon as he got his new ult, I think he's been played in every meta where you could play a tank. Maokai's been there essentially.
Yeah. Just because of the tankiness and the CC that he provides, like that's it. That's all you need. And being a tree is kind of cool, so why not? I know.
I forgot he has a third ult now.
Yeah.
Jeez. Poor Maokai. You know, everyone complains about all the Rise reworks, but really Maokai's
had more, I'm pretty
becoming
sure.
Rise 2.0 soon.
I think Maokai has had more like reworks, but I think Rise has had 12k reworks.
Ooh.
Okay.
Jeez.
Gerard, why?
That was actually an interesting trading pattern coming out from Gerard, using the hookshot wall dive as sort of his engage timer and just constantly off cooldown, using that with a second auto the precision protocol. And just eventually, Fee was not, I guess, ready for it to happen again, because we saw it a few times while the camera was up in the top lane. We saw that same pattern going in and out, and clearly very effective.
Yeah, that's what you want to do as Camille, is you just want to be dipping, ducking, and diving in this lane, trying to get this damage off over and over again. If you just wait for the enemy laner to come into you and try and use your abilities, it's not going to work. You have to be the aggressor, and you have to be the one to get those damage trades in that are favorable for you, and trying to disengage in a way that makes it so that you can walk out. But Camille, seeing Showmatch or not?
Question mark? Okay. Taking some poke damage from the jungle Cho'Gath. Interesting there.
Yeah, really interesting. I don't think he was looking at where he was at that point. I think he was just looking mid, trying to see what he could do, but didn't notice that Cho'Gath was literally on his face.
Yeah.
That happens. It's just like shopping before you're finished recalling. You generally just want to, if you're looking somewhere else, you always want to also have like a second eye wherever you are.
Ooh, hold on. This Maokai counter gank, or this Maokai gank coming out is great. TP in from CWL. It looks like it's going to be a lot of CC going down, but Braum is the one who gets killed first. Nope, second. Madabox goes down first. A great 4-man gank coming out from DTW.
It's just like that. There's 4 people in the bot lane.
Yeah. Suddenly 4 people.
This is why I don't play bot lane anymore.
Yeah.
Because you think it's a nice little 2v2, and then suddenly you're dead.
Oh, it was a nice delay there from Gerard, saving the precision protocol auto. It was interesting. If you saw Jeebus's pathing, he went down to the back of the red buff, warded all around, and then went behind the Krugs and around to get the backwards flank. That was just really good pathing from him, and it shows how effective jungle pathing can be for a jungler.
Yeah,
and actually, Fifu showing something that I wanted to talk about earlier was that the hookshot wall dive engage is really effective unless you use steadfast presence on it. However, the problem there is the cooldown mismatch. As steadfast presence isn't max first, the hookshot wall dive is, and I believe hookshot's initial cooldown is around 18 seconds, and steadfast presence is 24. There's a problem where you can block the engage every other time, but there's nothing you can do on those other situations.
All you can really do is try and trade damage, get those Qs and autos down, try and do something. One interesting interaction actually is Poppy can charge the Camille when she's on the wall and stun her. And
that's what I was thinking too. I was like, wait a minute. You get the steadfast presence. She's not jumping to you. Just stun her now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much that would have helped in this particular lane, however. At a certain point, I believe Gerard was diving under tower in order to get those pokes down.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
So there it would have been helpful.
There it would have been helpful, but we really should see Razion come top lane and help with that out. Just because I think that the two of them together can do something. The steadfast presence there, directed camera not showing us what we want to see.
We saw the very beginning and the very end of it, so...
It's all you need, right?
The tactical sweep just mini poke. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but the slow sure is annoying.
Yeah, it sure is. And it also reduces your armor, which is a pretty interesting interaction there. Tactical sweep is actually surprisingly good, like poke tool, because it keeps you at a arm's length from your opponent, and it lets you kind of get that damage off basically for free.
Bubble going down, followed by the gold card, followed by the wave. Darth Jeebus getting the kill on Bursting Nemesis.
Holy moly.
Really quick.
Cleanse burned there, and then the 1 CC coming out, the cleanse burn, and then everybody just jumps on him.
Yeah, she's like, alright, cleanse is out, guys, let's go. Oh, stun coming down onto ET Meta, the rupture, the wall, everything's going down, and so is Tristana. Meanwhile, Razion trying to get hyper on the Bob, I think, but little too aggressive there.
Yeah. ET Meta not respecting the amount of damage in CC that can come out. He tried to rocket jump, but ended up getting knocked up twice in a row. That was kind of cool to watch. I always love seeing knock up into knock up while he's already being knocked up. Just because it's so fun to watch. But you see that the builds coming out from both these AD carries are pretty similar. It looks like they're both going to get the BF sword and some attack speed from the boots, and then extra damage after that. That's just the max DPS, attack speed, and crit builds from these AD carries. The Twisted Fate builds Rowan now because your damage is so high already. And you getting those tanky stats with the health and mana is really important. Oriana building Morellos, not a big surprise there. Both junglers going the Cinderhulk build, again, no surprise. Really, no surprises coming out of any of these members here. I'm curious to know if Braum went Bond of Stone, because if so, he could have. Wow, my brain is just blank. Okay, if he went Bond of Stone, he could have very easily gone Redemption this game, but decides not to do it. The Nami also rushed to the coin max item first, rather than going Redemption first. Little tussle going on here.
Oh, the smite steal from Darth Jeebus, and then the bubble to follow up. He looks like he's trying to go in here. Razion not able to do a whole lot, getting stunned up, getting locked down. Razion getting taken down, can't support all, looking like they're going to follow. Winter's Bite not getting proc, so can't support all, just flashing out. Meanwhile, a flash to follow from Darth Jeebus. Hookshot wall dive going to be enough to finish him off. Bursting Nemesis going to be the next one to fall. CWL just trying to go in. Oh, but a shockwave under tower. Not going to be quite enough to kill him, but nice last-ditch effort.
Yep. You see
that
the power.
said, I would have liked to have seen it saved instead.
Yeah. Nice try there, and another pause. That gives us some time to talk about what just happened. So you saw a nice little invade by Darth Jeebus there, and you also saw Gerard roam down to get these kills. Excuse me. Double kill for him. Getting 2 kills on his pocket is really important, because getting a split pushing Camille ahead is amazing. Because when you get a Camille in a side lane and the other split pusher can't match it, then the game's just basically over at that point, unless the team can play around it. But with Camille that far ahead, it's almost impossible to match her. The team is 5,000 gold ahead in this game, or like 4,500, um, with all these kills in the tower that's gone over. So making sure they sustain this lead through the mid game is going to be really important. They need to push their lead and split push even more effectively here, and try and get vision control down in these jungle quadrants, and getting control and getting Darth Jeebus tanky enough to basically dive any tower for a few seconds to get these kills
Hmm.
is going to be super important.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, I mean, Jeebus is almost certainly already tanking up to dive the towers for a little bit, just based on his itemizations and the point in the game. But you were talking a lot about the split pushes and how that's going to be an important way to maintain the lead.
Yeah,
There's just such a great comp for Death to Weaves right now in order to split push, because you have Gerard in the top lane with that huge lead, teleport, hookshot, wall dive. That's a lot of both lane mobility and map mobility. But the big portion of this split push that makes it so much harder to deal with is CWL, who has both teleport and his ultimate destiny, which is a semi-global.
yeah,
At this point, normally what you do to answer a split push is you either engage on the split pusher's team as 5, or you send one who can handle them off the match. If you can't handle them with just one, you either send 2, or you again have to engage on their team without them and just hope you get enough kills to make them back off. The problem with this is if you only send 2 people, suddenly CWL sees that. Gerard just says, hey, we get 2 free kills right now. CWL ults in, gets the stun card, and then suddenly the fight is turned and the split push continues with 2 deaths on the enemy team.
yeah.
So it's really hard to respond to at this point. And honestly, I don't know how they're going to, because CWL also is incredibly strong at this point.
But you have to remember, throws, my friend, throws.
Well, yes, this is all ideally.
Yes. Ideally speaking, um, these teams are very mismatched at this point, where Gerard is super far ahead, CWL is relatively far ahead, and has a lot of gold in his pocket. He's also going to be building this Lich Bane, likely next, and getting that's going to be really important because even he can split push. He, like you said, he can teleport slash ult down there and
Hmm.
get into the lane with Gerard and split push after getting kills, and getting that is going to be really good for them because TF does a ton of damage to towers. He just kind of melts through them after a while, and getting those towers is going to be super important. Breaking the base, getting that nexus is kind of what it's all about. So we'll see if Team Dr. Weebs can play around Gerard and CWL in this game, because all Darth Jeebus, Meta, and Hyper Engine Bomb need to do is stave off and hold mid, basically, um, and not get engaged on and die, and then the split push strat can just work. So really, it's all I'd say honestly, it's all on Darth Jeebus to temper his engage potential for counter engage, because
Hmm.
if he's the one that pulls the trigger and doesn't get like a perfect kill onto Matabox's Twitch, then they could lose that fight and lose a lot more than they're gaining from the split push. Uh, so hopefully Darth Jeebus turns the switch to a peel bot instead of an engage bot at this point.
Yeah, I'd like to see that as well, but more importantly than how they play the team fights is how they play the objectives from this point out, because they
Hmm.
do, despite their massive gold lead at this point, as you said, 4.4k already at the 15-minute mark, they only have 1 tower right now, and that's in the bot lane. ET Meta is currently pushing onto the 2nd tower, but there's 2 towers in the top and mid lane. What I think they should do is either go for a tower immediately. The mid tower is a good candidate right now because no one's around it, or they need to turn onto Rift Herald, take that, and then use the pressure they gain from that in order to force a tower in at least one lane. Then when they have to deal with the Rift Herald, you can rotate into the other lane. Hopefully that's what they're going to end up doing here, because I think Rift Herald at this point is too good an objective for them to ignore.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so we have a few minutes of a pause. Hopefully, it doesn't last too much longer.
Yeah, you
Man,
know, sometimes you run out of things to say during a pause,
yeah,
and then the act of trying to think of something to say ends
it's
up
worse.
just creating this awful silence. So you end up doing what I'm doing right now, which I call stalling for time. And it's a very effective strategy, both in casting and in real life. If someone asks you a really awkward question like, hey, do you like me? You can stall for time, and that'll work really well. As we saw, because the pause is over now. Heal going out from ET Meta because they stuck under the tower a little bit too long. And like I said, Rift Herald going to be going down right now.
Yep. Rift Herald's good to pick up because they can get a tower for that. The way I see Rift Herald is kind of like a delayed tower take, without taking a whole lot of damage from towers. And because you get the Rift Herald, Eye of the Herald, and you pick that up, you plop it down in a lane, and you get like half a tower's HP for free. And CWL is going to grab this tower up for himself. The tower taking potential of TF being shown right there.
See, the funny thing about the tower taking potential, he did that in perhaps the least efficient way possible, because blue card does the most damage.
Yeah.
He was just cycling through. He was like, you know what? I'm feeling fancy today. I'm feeling the variety show hour.
Yeah.
I'm gonna gold card the tower. But I respect that, you know? He still got the tower, they still got the Herald. Now they had to decide what exactly to do with it. Dragon is coming up in 32 seconds. There's still an open T1 tower in the top lane. But it looks like they're going to focus on the Dragon instead.
Yeah.
It's going to be an Infernal, so pretty smart.
Every team wants the Infernal Dragon because they say, oh, well, clearly that extra percent damage that I get from the extra AD and AP is going to matter. Whereas when people see a Cloud Drake or an Ocean Drake, they're like, well, I mean, I guess I can move faster, and they don't actually they don't know how to quantify it. But that extra move speed you get from Cloud Drake is surprisingly effective. But Twitch was in the bot lane and is recalling. Oh, getting a nice catch.
Oh, double bubble going down onto Razion. A wave coming down, and Razion goes down. Can't support all. Shortly going to follow. Exhaust down on him. Bursting Nemesis going to try and save him, but no, he's going to go down. They should turn immediately onto Dragon here while Gerard pushes the top lane. It looks like they're doing just that.
Nice pick. Yeah, Gerard has some free time in this top lane to grab that tower.
Now, I was going to mention before that fight broke out that they really need to kill Razion, or at least burn his flash before this, because with his Consume Smite, he does more damage than Dark Jeebus can ever hope to do.
Yeah.
But luckily, Razion just kind of walked into them and then died. So, things working out very well here for DTW.
Very well played by Death to Weebs. Grabbing those 2 kills on the jungler and support. Jungler and support ends up being a roaming squad for most teams, so it's no surprise that they were the ones up front more. But they went a little bit too far forward when Death to Weebs was right there, and ended up dying for their sins. And Gerard was just like split pushing that entire time. That was essentially a 4v5 minus Twitch. So it ended up being a 4v4. Twitch was in the bot lane, and recalling at that point. But you see here, they're trying to put this pressure in the bot lane, but Twitch is just going to sit there soaking up that farm. Orianna is going to come, soak some as well.
Ooh,
No.
Gerard going on to Fee at this point. Tactical sweep going down to get the slow. Ooh, that was a lot of damage from the Precision Protocol. Gonna knock her out of her own ult. Showing how Poppy is pretty okay into Camille.
I love that matchup just because of that reason. You can just
that's perfect right there.
toss her out of her own ult.
Ooh, the flash red card. Almost working, just needs to get one more red auto, and it's gonna happen. Gerard getting the hookshot wall dive as well. CWL on a rampage, Gerard doing great too. 4-0-5 and 4-0-1 respectively. Gold card going down there on can't support all, but they're just gonna disengage. This game is almost certainly over.
It's pretty close to over. I wouldn't say it's 100% over at this point. If Team Death to Weebs gets like even a couple thousand more gold ahead, it's pretty over. I'd say at this point, if Team Taco Bell eSports Academy cannot stop the bleeding, it's pretty over because they're just going to grab all of these towers. They have 0 towers themselves. They only have 1 kill. This is an almost perfect game. We have to report ET Meta for feeding this game. Clearly a weakest member on the team.
Yes, he's ruining it for everyone now.
Yeah. But yeah, Taco Bell eSports Academy is just super far behind at this point. For those that don't know the Riot remake policy, they consider a game to be too far gone when there is a gold lead that is equal to or more than a third of the enemy team's entire gold. So you see here there's a 10,000 gold lead for Team Taco Bell or not Team Taco Bell, Team Death to Weebs here, and the Taco Bell Esports only has 27,000 gold. So they should have 30,000 gold to still be relevant in this game, but they don't. They are over 10,000 gold. They are 10,000 gold behind, which is over a third of what they have. Nice steadfast presence there. So this game is relatively over at this point.
It's
just
pretty toast at this point.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if Team Death to Weebs can close it out, if they know what they want to do, and if they can grab these towers, get these objectives, and push down these waves here. It's going to be pretty tough for Team Taco Bell Esports Academy to come back from this point.
Yeah, we're seeing good priority here on their to-do list is this Baron buff. They're trying to clear out the wards, but hopefully they're not going to do what we call the classic Baron Dignitas play, where you think you have a great Baron and then you throw the entire game off that one play. So they're trying to be careful now. They don't really have an advantage here at this point, but Gerard looks like he's going to try and get stopped here by Razion, so there's no jungler for Taco Bell Esports at that Baron, which means it should be fairly uncontested. Actually,
Gerard just doing his thing.
They just don't even notice it.
Yeah, I don't think they notice. Although they
It looks like they're going for it now. Can't support all. Trying to walk out. Darth G is getting pretty low. If they get stuck into a fight here, that's bad news. Shockwave not going to go out. A good defensive wave there from Higher Ungen Bob. Just keeping them nice and safe, preventing that engage. Because that would have been 1 or 2 deaths, almost certainly.
That was well played by Gerard, knowing when he needs to go aggressive to bring the team down. You saw Razion trying to go down to assist FIFO from there, and that just resulting in that weird.
Ooh, Maokai ultimate going out. Gerard going in onto Mattobox. Mattobox getting pretty low, but not going to go down just yet. Finally falling. Gerard going to be the next one to fall. Razion getting exhausted, but not quite enough to save him. Darth Jeep is there in the back line doing a lot of work. Razion trying to eat someone, but it's not going to happen. ET Meta going to jump in now, knowing that he's safe. Trying to go into Bursting Nemesis, but the wall from Braum is too much to get through. Braum going down, and Bursting Nemesis barely surviving. Rocket jump in. Flash gets the kill, and that's an ace. Well, B's still alive technically, I guess, but
I guess so, but he's splitting the bot lane.
I'll call it a combat ace.
There isn't really a whole lot he can do even if he backs. Like, the game's pretty
I think
over
at this point you just keep pushing or you try and cut the wave.
Yeah,
Those
but
are
he's
your
probably
two
just gonna,
options.
he's probably just going to try and hold them out, at the very least. They can probably go for the winner because they have super minion, or super Baroned up creeps here. But we also see Mattobox is alive, and the rest of the team is coming up pretty quick.
Yep, Mattobox doesn't have that ultimate though. No spray and pray available. A little bit of poke going down from ET Meta. Razion getting stunned by the hookshot wall dive. He's going to almost go down. Flashes away from the bubble. Not a whole lot to be done there. CWL has the gold card primed and ready to go, but doesn't look like he's going to even get a chance to use it. The Nexus is about to fall, and it finally does. Congratulations. Game 1 goes over to ET Meta and DTW. ET Meta, unfortunately, 1 of 2 deaths that game. They did their best, but still a feeder. Please report 9x. Anyways,
please report
that's
ET Meta
1
and Gerard for feeding.
Yeah. You know, they tried, though.
Yeah.
And we appreciate their efforts as casters. So, Game 1 going down to DTW there. Hopefully, in Game 2, Taco Academy can do something to pull it back.
Yep. That game was pretty interesting. Team Comps really showed me what they can do there.
Yeah, doing exactly what they needed to do. Getting the picks, getting the split push, getting the tower kills. Pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty fantastic. We're going to go on a quick break while we rearrange the lobbies for game number 2, but don't touch that browser screen. We'll be back.
not leave me. I love you. I hate you. I love you. I hate you. I love you. Hate you. Love you. Love you. Love you. Hate you. Love you. Hate you. Love you. Hate. 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 If you leave, I will. Better yet, I will kill you. 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 Hate love 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 you.
My baby and I like new silky sheets every night. He buys me fur and whiskey neat and keeps on coming every week. Ooh, he wants the suburbs where school's out for summer, and we live by his mother. I keep my drugs in the cupboard 'cause I'm only sweet when I'm high. 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 In class, I learned a lot. Two pretty boys to pass the time. 'Cause I got that good shit, American pride. Kiss the kids goodnight and take the Harley for a ride. Ooh, he wants the suburbs where school's out for summer, and we live by his mother. I keep my drugs in the cupboard 'cause I'm only sweet when I'm high. 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 I get so bored, scrub the floors, then get drunk while doing chores. Does he even know me? Ooh, I'm never sure when he'll be home. Get into trouble on my own. I don't get lonely. Ooh, he wants the suburbs where school's out for summer, and we live by his mother. I keep my
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are now in picks and bans for Game 2 between Taco Bell Esports Academy and Death to Weebs. Death to Weebs is now on the blue side and Taco Bell Esports on the red. I'm still Nibiria. I'm still joined by Penguin God, and Cho'Gath and Camille are still in pick ban. What's up, Penguin?
Not a whole lot, just enjoying these picks and bans. Camille clearly was one of the biggest problems in that game, so getting that banned out is really important. And the rest of the bans aren't very surprising. The Oriana was a good pick for bursting Nemesis there. He did pretty solidly in lane. And the Janna ban, typical Cho'Gath out of Razion's hands. Very, very good. Sion pickup for Gerard. We'll see if he can have as much lane pressure as he had in the last game. But the Kled pickup, both of these picks were picked in like the middle of the draft, so not a whole lot of priority here. But TBA did pick up the Maokai, first pick for them, and Death to Weebs, second pick to the Elise. So in the first pick of their second round, they picked up the Elise. Echo was the last pick for TBA. Holy moly, they're doing it to me again. Jace was the pickup in mid lane. The Jace into Echo matchup is pretty difficult for Jace, especially level 6, because Echo can just get favorable trades off and just ult away if he needs to. But Jace can win it early, given good spell rotations and lots of good damage coming out early, and jungle pressure from this Elise. Echo doesn't do very well early game trying to get away from ganks. We'll see how that fares for him. And we'll see if Jace can put the pressure on in this lane. The Xayah pickup for Meta Box. He had an alright showing on the Twitch last game, but he just got hit a bunch up. Tristana for ET Meta. Not too surprising. It was their first pick. Does really well on that. Blitzcrank for Can't Support All. Nami Pride on Jabab again. And trying to lead the team to another victory in Game 2.
Yeah, I don't really like the Blitzcrank pick. And let me try and reverse engineer this feeling. Tristana can buffer almost every knockback and pull in the game. The only exception is one where the damage instance and the knock-up instance come out at the exact same time. So she can buffer, I believe, Blitzcrank hook, Thresh hook. He can still follow it, though. And I think there's a few others. The big exception is Gragas E, because the interrupt and damage come at the same time and just stop her jump entirely. Yep. So my big problem with that is if you know Tristana is up, or if you know it's been picked, either or, but it's the same situation, really, and you know ET Meta had a good showing on it last game, you're kind of just relying on catching the Nami, I guess, which, fair, it could still happen, but I feel like it might be better to go for something that has equal efficacy against both bot laners, like an Alistar or something.
Yeah. It'll be pretty interesting to see if each teammate can play around this and not feed his butt off this next game. Clearly,
That whole one death last game was a little too much.
Yeah, same with Gerard. Come on, guys, get it together. Um, but Tristana can buffer the Blitzcrank pull, but cannot buffer the Thresh pull because Thresh has kind of a double animation. But what Tristana can do is buffer the first part of the pull, which is actually the most substantial part where it stops your movement and pulls you towards him. And she can buffer out that first part of it. But Blitzcrank is still a tough matchup because Blitzcrank can just say, well, we don't care about Tristana, we're going to pull Nami instead. And they just get kills on Nami. It's pretty tough for them to have some lane pressure in this lane. But we'll see if this Nami Tristana lane can outmatch the pull potential out of the Blitzcrank.
And to be entirely fair about the Blitzcrank pick, Xayah is a good lane partner for him because she can land a snare of her own with the 3 feathers being pulled back. That makes it a whole lot easier to get a pull on a Tristana because you can't buffer a jump if you can't move. So
yeah, it's hard to jump when you can't move.
Yeah, pretty good in that sense. But I'm kind of concerned about this team comp, honestly, on the side of Death to Weebs because they only have a lease for magic damage. Nami sort of does a little bit, and with Ardent Sensor, you could say Tristana does a decent amount. I think is it still a flat 50? It isn't, I don't believe. I think they changed it again. I can never keep up with the changes on that item.
Yeah,
but either way, you only have one real magic damage source, and I'm concerned for the late game how unkillable really the Maokai is going to be.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the late game can really happen here because the early game potential out of Team Death to Weebs is super high with the Sound, Elise, Jace, Tristana, and Nami. All 5 of those members have really good early game pressure. Minus I'd say Tristana has good early game pressure, but she also has even more late game pressure. But Jace's early game is really, really good. Same with Elise. She's known for her early game roams. And Scion's early to mid game is super strong. Late game, he just becomes an unkillable tank, but he doesn't really do a whole lot other than that.
Yep, well, we'll see if they can use that powerful early game to snowball into a victory. And we'll be back in about a minute here to bring you in to Game 2 of the Week 4 EU show matches. See you then. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here in Game 2 between DTW and TBA here in Learning Fives. I'm still Nibiria. He's still Penguin God. We're seeing a different level 1 here, especially from Taco Academy here. It looks like they're trying to go for a cheesy invade with the Blitzcrank. I don't know how this is going to work out.
Seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
Well, unfortunately, you can't bind it in the UI just yet. You have to go all the way down into keybinds, and it's a whole lot of effort for something I'm never going to use because I'm too dumb to notice words. Yeah, I don't. I'm bad. It's a pretty little icon to let you know that you're about to feed. Little bit of trading going on in the top lane. Nothing too exciting. I don't really expect too much excitement to be coming out of the top lane at basically any point.
Yeah.
They're probably going to prove me wrong just so I have egg on my face, but I'm going to be okay with that, honestly. Both junglers starting bot side. Looks like they're heading up towards top, so there might be a level 3 gank there or mid. I would expect mid more, honestly, but you never know.
Flood is pretty easy to gank once he gets off Scarl, but then when he gets back on Scarl, it's harder to gank him because he gets those frames of invulnerability, getting off and getting on.
And then gets the huge health buff afterwards.
Yeah, so he ends up gaining a couple hundred health just from Scarl coming back, basically. It's essentially like a kind of a big heal, sort of like a Maokai heal, if you think about it that way. He just gains that health again. But Gerard taking some tower damage there. Man, this lane's going to be pretty interesting to watch if you ask me, because Gerard needs to watch his mana. He's wanting to poke out Fifu Fum in this lane, but he needs to watch out how much mana he's using.
I think he should have started Doran's Ring, personally.
Doran's Ring? Oh no. Already.
Oh, hook going down. Bubble gonna land. ET Meta getting really low there, but not gonna die, luckily. Not a pretty start. And I'd like to give props to Can't Support All for his zoning as Blitzcrank, because earlier on in the lane, the reason ET Meta was so low on experience, even still, relatively, is because Can't Support All hit level 2, immediately walked up, and forced Meta to walk around that rock. Meanwhile, another hook going down, Ungen Bob getting knocked back, and a whole lot of damage going down onto the bot lane of DTW. Not looking too hot.
Not looking good in this bot lane. Hyper Engine Bob still doesn't have flash. It's going to be pretty tough for him to do a whole lot in this lane, considering it's a Blitzcrank, and he's going to try weaving those hooks in as minions die. That's one thing you have to watch out with Blitzcrank. You have to stand behind minions, but also watch when the minions are about to die, because Blitzcrank's going to try pulling as the minion is dying, so you get pulled without expecting it.
That's why that's one of the reasons that a lot of people were saying Blitzcrank was just not viable in pro play. And then, of course, Afromu whipped it out in pro play and did very, very well, roaming all over the map and getting kills with it. I'm not sure if we're going to see that kind of style of play out from Can't Support All, or I more expect him to stay in lane and exert pressure that way.
Yep, I do too. But one thing about the Blitzcrank is that it provides a lot of playmaking, and playmaking is one thing that Blitzcrank really wants, and in the pro scene right now, playmaking is really important, because you need the support to do things rather than just heal sometimes.
Generally a plus as an AD carry when my support does things.
Yeah, very helpful. But
just tends to help the game in general, honestly.
Fifu Fum taking a lot of damage in this top lane. He had to go back and teleport back in, but he's already at half HP. He can only go back and get another Doran's Blade. Darth Jeebus trying to get something done in bot lane, but they don't know where Razion is. Not a whole lot happening in this game. CWL had to go back to refill his mana pool, and only has... Or he didn't actually go back. But his mana pool is pretty low at this point, so it's going to be kind of tough for him to do a whole lot in this lane. British Sting Nemesis just going to have a little bit of pressure here. Gerard gets 1 HP every single minute he kills, and that's about where we are now.
Yeah, and we're seeing a little bit of CS leads develop in the lanes. Bursting Nemesis getting chased down a little bit out of his lane. But the problem is in seeing if they're going to stick, because it is rather early on. I think the bot lane one will continue for at least a while because of the pressure that is exerted just by the presence of a Blitzcrank.
Yep. There's so much aggression going on in this game that the directed camera has no clue where to go. It's
just kind of going wherever it feels.
Yep.
Dr. Mundo is the director of the camera right now.
Clearly.
And he's going where he pleases, but not a whole lot to talk about in terms of the game itself because nothing yet has happened outside of a bunch of trades. There is an invade from Darth Jeebus into the jungle of Razion, so that's something at least.
It's something
But
we could talk about that.
yeah, so he
It's-
invaded and took some of the raptors, it
Yeah.
looks like.
He also knew that Razion would be heading that way pretty soon, so he's getting out of dodge. Ooh, almost landing that hook there. But yeah, it's nothing really surprising going on here. I also checked the masteries this game, and nothing surprising coming out. Warlords coming out of each game, or Warlords coming out of each AD carry, sorry. Wind Speakers coming out of Hyper Engine Bob, to be expected. Courage coming out from the Blitzcrank, to be expected. Same with the Maokai. And Grasp coming out of Gerard. Thunderlords coming out of Darth Jeebus CWL. Fervor coming out of the Khaled. Nothing too surprising in any of these cases. Oh no,
Yeah,
ganking
that
out.
was a super telegraph gank right there.
Yep, into the bubble though. Good job.
Yeah, it was indeed a nice bubble. I don't know if Gerard wants to take any more trades right now. He's completely out of mana.
Yep, I think he might have mana for one ability, but that's it. There
And
it
he
is.
just used it.
He just used it. But even so, he still has a lot of trade potential in this lane just with his auto attacks and that grasp the attack.
We do see Elise picking up the mobility boots, though, which is an interesting choice. It means that she's going to prioritize the early gank potential that is inherent to the champion, but I don't think there's really many good places to gank right now in terms of lane positioning. So the Mobies might end up just being wasted unless more invades go down, because then the mobility boots will have served a purpose, but otherwise, at a certain point, it just becomes better if you would have gotten Merc Treads or something. You see Razion coming into the mid lane as Darth Jeebus is already in there, so it's going to be a counter gank from Razion, but Razion actually isn't even going to go in. Bursting Nemesis having burned that Chrono Break to get away.
Yep.
Oh, but they are going on to Razion. Razion getting really low and flashing out.
And having flash out there.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, I guess. Razion mispositioning there a little bit, having to burn his flash to stay alive. But I do want to touch on the Moby Boots. You generally only go Moby Boots when you're already ahead. Just because it's such an expensive purchase for not a whole lot of stats gain. Like you do get that massive amount of movement speed, but that doesn't really do anything. Meta going in though. Saw that can't support all was mid lane. I think you muted your mic, but that's fine. So Meta and Hyper Engine Bob noticed that can't support all went mid lane, so they decided to go aggressive a bot lane. But yeah, with Moby Boots on Elise, you don't really want to buy them if you're not getting anything done early game. Like if you haven't already got 2 to 3 kills on your team at this point, you don't want to build Moby Boots. Just get your jungle item, call it good. Maybe some
Ooh,
tier 1 boosts.
the buffer.
There it is. That's what we like to see. Oh, the turn passive, ruining the CS. Feels good.
As per usual.
Oh
Ooh,
no!
blue buff getting taken by Jeebus.
It was, I think it was the
Unfortunate.
spiders and the red buff.
Not a whole lot happening right now again, which is little sad, but the CS lead from Maddobucks has actually only served to expand as this lane has continued. Up
Yep.
to 21 right now, which is just huge. Not
is-
sure how well it'll translate into late game, though, because
Yeah.
of the differences in how Tristana and Xayah function in team fights.
Yeah, we'll see. Xayah does really well in these AoE team fights where she just wants to stay back and let the enemy team run into her. But I don't think that's what the team out of Death Weebs.
CWL getting engaged on trying to dodge out the parallel conversions here. Ooh, missing the Q, not going well, but Darth Jeebus was already there in the mid lane, ready for a counter gank. Razion using that ultimate, but not going to be able to catch anyone. Jeebus and CWL just running out now. Gerard ready to stop any further combat, but not going to happen.
A lot of nothing happened in this game. First blood not even going down in the first 11 minutes of the game. Hopefully they don't get a kill within 8 seconds to prove me wrong, but I'd be so mad.
All
if
right,
they
we're
did.
safe.
We're
We're
good,
safe.
But with that,
Ooh. Exciting scrapping in the top lane.
clearly.
The one thing I will say about the top lane fights, though, is the longer they go on, the worse Gerard is off for them because of the fervor on Fee. Both junglers are in the top lane right now, so this might turn into something. Oh no, Jeebus completed the back. Okay, it's fine. Razion didn't end up following up on it, but that would have been a perfect opportunity. Can't support all. Going for the Power Fist first. Goes for the hook instead. Doesn't get the Power Fist just in time. Finally gets it as ET Meta jumps away, but not quite enough. Ignite burned. Nothing else going down in terms of summoners.
Very close to dying there.
Oh, absolutely.
He was only at a couple hundred HP. If Mountain Box was in the range to do it, to get the auto attacks, it would have been fine. Hyper Hunter and Bob landing a good bubble there. Pretty sure Meta would have died without that bubble.
Yeah, he's having a great showing on Nami these 2 games. Meanwhile, gank coming in from Darth Jeebus. Bubble gonna land on Can't Support All. Teleports coming in from both top laners. Can't Support All trying to flash out in time. Gerard gets there though. It looks like a 3rd teleport coming down into the spot lane. Gerard is gonna have his passive proc in a second. Meanwhile, Feep Bum going on to the backline of DTW. First blood going down. Gerard gonna die, but is Fee as well. Pocket pistol to try and get away. Flash heal burned. ET Meta going a little too aggressive, having to flash out and heal on his own. And a lot burned in that fight. Not necessarily the best for DTW there.
So
losing
many
one.
summoner spells.
Yeah. They lost 1 person and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 summoner spells.
Yeah, so the team Taco Bell Academy did get a kill there. Let me just count how many summoner spells went happen. So there's the Scion Flash, Scion Teleport. Was that Jace Ignite used mid? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Tristana Flash, Tristana Heal, Nami Exhaust, Kled Teleport, Kled Flash, Echo Teleport, Xayah Heal, Blitzcrank Ignite, and Flash. That's 11 summoner spells burned for 1 single kill.
I would hate to be in the chat if this were like a solo queue game, because you know that the support would be doing their due diligence, timing the summoner spells, and just going down the list in tab, just alt-clicking everyone's summoners. Just be like, all right,
everybody's
80% of these are correct. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, you just like time the original start of the fight, and you're like, all right, by about this time, everybody's flash is going to be up, and about this time, everybody's everything else is going to be up.
Yeah, we're fine. Everything's fine. Parallel Conversion's not landing. CWL getting to walk out of there alive. Fee getting a little bit low, but going to start fighting back here with the Fervor. Skarl might not even get popped here. Oh, finally getting popped from the E.
Yep. That lane's going to be pretty solidly in Gerard's favor. It's not like a lot of kills are going to be going over this lane. You see they're pretty much exactly even in CS. But it's hard for them to kill each other. Again.
Oh, stun going down on the Can't Support All. Wave coming out as well. Bubble going on to Xayah. Can't Support All. Still surviving. Xayah ult blown now, but a great repel from Darth Jeebus. Can't Support All looking to be the first one to fall to the Buster Shot and the Explosive Shot, but is it going to be enough? It is. Buster Shot not resetting, but Rocket Jump will, but just knocked down for so long.
You saw there, that was unfortunate target selection. That's what happened there, is they were focusing different targets, and that was the problem. They weren't in a position to focus the same target. The bubble landed on one member, and Darth Jeebus focused the other. So that was unfortunately timed. 2 kills going over to Team Taco Bell, and 1 kill going over to Team Death to Weebs.
Yeah, a little bit of a cluster fight, to say the least.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Good job.
No, we're keeping it clean here.
Yes, clearly. Good job there. But some minions going down that bot lane tower feels bad to be an AD carry when that's going down. You lose a cannon minion to the tower, it just feels real bad.
Oh yeah.
But one interesting fact about the minion waves and how they bounce on the tower, you actually want to back on a cannon minion wave. Even though a cannon minion by itself is worth more than 1 minion, you actually lose more if you have a regular minion wave bounce into tower, because you lose generally about the entire wave if you back, because it takes a certain number of auto attacks for minions to go down. It takes 3 for melee minions and 2 for caster minions from a tower, and it takes 8 to take out a cannon minion. So you lose generally about a cannon minion and a melee minion if you go back on a cannon minion wave, but you lose like an entire wave if you go back on a non-cannon minion wave. If it's pushing straight into tower, that is. If it's not pushing straight into tower, you don't have to worry about it. Just grab that cannon minion and leave. But Gerard is in this bush, and it's going to be interesting to see if he pulls this off.
When is he going to go for it is the question. They don't suspect it. They don't see it.
There's no way they'd know.
They're waiting for that. I don't think that's the target you want to go on. Matterbox, shouldn't really be the target there. Should have gone on to cancel port all because that's going to happen. You're going to get all the feathers drawn back on you and getting killed. Just, again, unfortunate target selection. While, yes, you want the AD carry to die more than you want the support to die, you caught the support.
Yeah. And you also don't want to go into a Xayah because that's exactly what Xayah wants.
Yeah.
You want Xayah, you want people to come at you because that means you get to kite back and throw down feathers and snare them up as they're trying to walk at you, because they can't walk at you and walk sideways as well, because they just lose one of the two things they want to do, whether it is dodge or come at you. So ET Meta just getting a little bit too greedy for that kill onto the Xayah. The other two members were going onto the Blitzcrank, and she should have just, ET Meta should just hit that Blitzcrank and got the kill. Would have been easy.
Yeah. Would have been better than what happened, but you know, sometimes unfortunate things happen.
I see Gerard, if he had ult there, you could have gone in. And gone ham.
Oh yeah. This Xayah is getting a little scary.
Xayah's 3-0, already has an Essence Reaver.
46 CS lead.
Yep, whereas ET Meta doesn't even have a first complete item yet. Only a couple hundred gold off of the Infinity Edge, so that's not a big deal. It's just kind of unfortunate looking at the gold now. Yeah, he just barely got the dagger there, so there was no way he could have waited for that.
Yeah.
So
Looks like they're going to try a lane swap, though.
Yeah, they're going to grab the lane swap to try and get the pressure in the bot lane, because Gerard got that tower. Gerard just pushes the PP bomb. Oh, I love that interaction where Echo just jumps in and Jace knocks him away.
Yeah. Ooh, Bursting Nemesis is going to try and defensively parallel convergence ahead of himself, but they see it coming. Ooh, Hyperung and Bob going in with a wave, going to try and follow up with the bubble. Bubble lands. Looks like everyone's coming in. Chrono Break not going to get you in a safe spot. Cocoon going down. Bursting Nemesis is exhausted at this point. Goes down the first fight. B trying to go in with his ultimate, but not enough to save his mid laner. 4 people committed to 1 kill. You know what? It's a kill.
I mean, it's worth. Now you get the kill on the Echo, onto ET Meta there. ET Meta isn't having a good time in the CS war, but that means that he gets those kills in his pocket, which almost evens up the gold between them. They also have the tower to their name, which also helps. Looking at the gold here, he's about 1,300 behind, which means that he still needs a couple kills and a bunch of CS to get ahead. So we'll see if that can work.
Oop, Cocoon going down, no bubble to follow. Just a little bit of poke out damage, I guess.
Now, you mentioned that Elise was really the only magic damage coming out from that team. I'm like, hold on. Okay, he did get Runic Echoes. It looked like Cinderhulk to me.
Yeah.
Because of the
That would
background.
have been interesting.
I would have been so mad if he had gone Cinderhulk to try and get tanked.
Used to be the way to go. Well, Spirit of the Ancient Golem was at least. Hook going down onto CWL. CWL getting ignited. Going to get popped here in a second. Razion not going to follow. Ulting backwards, it looked like. That not necessarily the best. Meanwhile, ET Meta coming into that fight. Looks like they're trying to disengage it in the bot lane. Bursting Nemesis and Gerard just doing a little bit of fighting. Feed for Fun gets the... Ooh. Bear Trap not doing quite enough. They're not going to turn on the Baron, are they? They really shouldn't.
No, 20-minute Baron, there's no way, considering how low they are. Razion needs to be way tankier than this if they're going to take Baron. It's going to be pretty tough for them to take Baron because of the armor shred that Baron does. And Matterbox doesn't have the items to really shred through it right now. But they do grab that mid tower, very good for them. And the Dragon's up, so they might rotate over to that. But Team Death Weebs is rotating themselves over. And they see the ping going down. Do we want to take this? Do we not want to take this? Yeah. Pretty tough. Xayah is 4-0 in this lane. And in this game, trying to catapult themselves into a victory here. It's very good to see that...
Ooh, Flash Cocoon.
Ooh, barely missing. Good job, Matterbox, on just going.
Yeah, good optimal back timing from Matterbox there.
Yeah.
Sure.
That was like a split second away from being absolute disaster from out of
Yeah,
box.
certainly worth a shot though.
I just, whenever I see something like that coming at me, I just say, all right, well, if it's gonna hit me, it's destined to be. So
Yeah, it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit. There's very little point dodging. Flash wasn't even up at that point, so
yeah, but he did have the Feather Storm, so he could have protected himself if he got hit. So I can understand that. But maybe he just didn't even see it. That's entirely possible.
entirely.
And just
Yeah,
has to go
could have
change-
been in the
has-
shop.
I bet you might have to have a pause here to go change his underwear.
Yeah, just a little bit. Although he's still incredibly fed.
Yeah.
He might not have even gone down immediately.
No, he probably wouldn't have. Probably would have done a lot of damage to this. Very low damage right now, Darth Jeebus.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like the early game is paying off just yet, and the scaling has begun for the side of Taco Bell Esports Academy. They're just getting tanky, getting damage. Oh,
Gerard saying, "See you later, nerds,"
Scion screaming cowards in the opposite
as he
direction.
runs away.
Always a great sight to see.
That's like one of my favorite things is when he screams "cowards" as he's running away.
Yeah,
I think Riot may have thought of that, and they were just
I
like,
hope
"Let's
so
leave it in."
because it's beautiful. It really is. Uh-oh. CWL in a little bit of trouble. Flash in from Can't Support All, getting the knockup, getting the hook. CWL gonna go down here. Out of box healing, but not necessary. Little unfortunate. Not enough vision control. You see that Taco Bell Esports Academy did their best to clear out the vision in that entire area. There's 2 control wards and 2 regular green wards in that side of the river, so they knew there was no way they were seen.
Yep. This game's
And
gonna be
that's
pretty
basically
interesting.
how to get picks 101. Deny vision, obtain vision, kill people.
Yep.
There you go.
I'm really excited to see if Team Taco Bell can keep stalling out this game. They don't really even need to get super far ahead. They just need to be ahead and stall it out into the late game to try and get this low magic damage comp offline. Getting this armor is going to be really good. You already see the Righteous Glory coming out from Razion here, and having armor on all these members is going to be really important. I think FIFO Fum needs to build Ninja Tabai. I think honestly everybody should have Ninja Tabai. You already see the Ninja Tabai coming out of Burning Nemesis, but Moby Boots coming out from Can't Support All, and 5-0 Zaya is so hard to kill right now. Between having that flash and the Feather Storm and having a snare that's super easy to hit when you're being chased, it's just so hard to kill Zaya. But that being said, the jungler for Team Death to Weebs can get on this side if he's really careful and has a lot of magic damage. There's it's not like the most magic damage you've ever seen in your life, but it's something. Like it's their only magic damage, so they need to keep this up. They need to keep this at least in a place where she can do all this damage. And honestly, she probably needs to keep up this pen build. She needs to probably go like Andres into Void Staff just to try and pierce through any little bit of magic resist that the enemy team might have, making sure that they can actually do some magic damage in this game. Otherwise, CWL and AT Meta are just going to fall way behind. You can already see CWL behind 0-2 in this game. Only completed item is that Yumu's, and because he went for a Hex Drinker for the lane. I can't even defend.
A little bit unfortunate. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, CWL getting parallel converged on. ET Meta getting knocked up, pulled back, getting killed. Blown up pretty quick order. Little bit of an overcommittal from Taco Bell Academy. But that said, they can now push the tier 2 almost uncontested. There's not a whole lot anyone else can do to them damage-wise, because Madowbox is pretty scary. Meanwhile, another hook going down. Darth Jeep is getting knocked up, getting killed. CWL going to try and go in, has to flash out. Madowbox doing a great job keeping themselves safe with the ultimate, with the peeling. Zaya is just very safe right now, and that's a very good thing for Taco Bell Esports Academy. Very bad for Death to Weebs.
Yep. Zaya has a pretty safe peel bot between this Maokai and the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank can just pull anyone off of the Zaya at this point. Blitzcrank is also looking for pulls and trying to get them, but they aren't really required. The team of Death to Weebs wants to go in, and it's super easy to just refuse that out from the other team. So we'll see how each team plays this in the late game, because I'd say right now we're breaching into the late game. When you get basically past 30 minutes and it's hard to define what teams want to do in the mid game, that's when late game really shines. And the team fight stage of the game is really important as well, because you get these huge 5v5s where you really see the armor come in for Team Taco Bell, and that really shines. Basically what I think needs to happen is Team Death Week needs to funnel as much farm of this Tristan as possible. See Darth Jeebus trying to get these Raptors, just give them over, honestly, because you don't need them as much as Tristan needs. Tristan is going to need to carry this game. Tristan is the only one with kills on your team, the only really carry on your team, considering Jace when behind is basically non-existent, and Jace grabbing that buff, which is fine. You can just sit back and artillery from the back line. They're going to be looking for this dragon, but I don't know if they can do it, considering Kled has teleport and ult up. Going to roam around.
At this point, though, is Death to Weebs just kind of dead themselves? Because there's a certain point where you can't really scale harder than the enemy team unless they screw up. And on item parity at 6 items, I think that Taco Bell still wins. Meanwhile, Gerard using the ult on the Battle Box, trying to keep him in the back lane, bursting Nemesis, chrono breaking. Battle Box getting a little bit low, but not dying just yet, using that ult to stay safe from CWL, getting the snare onto him. CWL goes down, a good bubble onto 2, but it's not going to matter. ET Meta trying to do some damage from the back line, but disengaging. Seems to be the name of the game here, and Earth Dragon will go down for Taco Bell Academy here. Not a great game for DWT.
Yep. And on that point you just made, you never want to count out a Tristan in the late game. When she gets the 6 items, she can just melt through enemies from a very long distance. She gets to level 18, she's basically unhittable, and she just gets to do whatever the heck she wants. And the Xayah is going to stay at this range that she's at, and Tristana can literally just stay at her max range, and Xayah can't hit her. It's tough in the 1v1 matchup there, and it's even tough in the team fight matchup. Ooh, nice pull.
Hook going down on Darth Jeebus, getting knocked up, getting snared, getting killed. ET Meta,
wow,
trying to put out some damage, but at this point the damage is pretty insignificant.
That spider just got squished, holy moly.
Oh yeah.
And we see a nice little tie-up of the Mountain Drakes here, 1 mountain for each team. But man, this is going to be tough for Team Death to Weebs. With some armor being stacked up on each side, the nice ninja tabas coming out from Bursting Nemesis, always good. I think he had those before, I just didn't notice, or I did and I don't remember noticing, whatever. Bursting Nemesis did get the Hextech Protobelt, which is really good. I'm always a fan of that item, and the Zonias for Echo. Both of those actives really play into his kit very well. And he also got Lich Bane to try and split push as well on these towers. Very good, because he does a lot of damage to towers already, and getting even more damage is super good. Making sure that he can basically split push against anyone that's against him. You saw CWL couldn't really match him, so they sent 18 Meta down there. He couldn't really match him. They tried to send Gerard down there. He couldn't match him. So Burning Nemesis is in a really solid position right now. It does a lot of damage. Has basically an easy way to split push against pretty much the entire team. But Fum just kind of chilling in this top lane here. Just kind of doing his thing and trying to get these waves pushed in.
Well, they were trying to get a split push going, and while I respect the idea, I think the execution left a little bit to be desired, because what you really want to do at this point, Baron is on the map, you have a big lead. Set up a slow push in the bot lane, instead of pushing it all the way into tower. Just set up a big slow push so that they have to answer the wave or possibly lose an inhib tower, and then just rush to Baron.
And I think that's what they have going on right now. I can't really tell because I'm trying not to...
Oh, hold on. Wave going out, rooted up on the Nami, and it looks like Bursting Nemesis on the side trying to get the Elise, but still getting pretty low himself. Chrono baking back into the fight. Darth Jeebus is pretty low. Oh my god, Razion is incredibly tanky. Fifu Bum getting exhausted out of the fight, but they didn't really lose a whole lot of health through that entire engage.
The health bars out of Team Taco Bell are pretty relatively high compared to the other team, but Death to Weebs is in their base right now, so they can just go back and heal. But
Mhm.
you saw Razion pop his stone play and just become unkillable. Uh, he only lost like 100 or 2 HP in that whole fight, and
Yeah.
he ended up going a little bit too ham there, burned his flash, trying to get a kill. But if they had gotten that kill, it would have been worse. I understand. Ooh, a lot of damage.
Yeah, Metabox playing careful, trying not to get hit up by CWL, who wasn't even really looking to go for it, it looked like. Gerard trying to split push against Bursting Nemesis, which I think is fair enough. Bursting Nemesis at least can't kill him very quickly. Oh, CWL getting caught up, though. Getting caught up, knocked up, getting killed. Metabox barely surviving through the Ignite, having to burn Summoner heal, but CWL is toast. Metabox is still alive, but only has the Vamp Scepter for healing. That said, that's a lot of health to heal off one Gromp.
Yeah,
So should be fine for the remainder of the fight. Assuming he doesn't get engaged on. Meanwhile, Bob getting engaged on, getting pulled in. This Blitzcrank doing a lot of work. Forgive me for doubting the pick.
that is a really high kill participation Blitzcrank here. He's 1-1-10. Been involved in 11 of these 12 kills. Holy moly. They're just gonna rotate on this Baron. Burning Nemesis has teleport, which is why he's back in here. They're probably just gonna drop a ward. Yeah, they did. And then Burning Nemesis can't walk there because the enemy team isn't trying to match it at all. One thing a lot of solo queue people do, and a lot of people in buys actually do, is they go back, wait for Neil to teleport in when there's no reason they can just walk there. And the team just picks up a ton of gold for themselves. They're now 11,000 gold ahead, and they're going to use this Baron to push even further in. This is a really, really tough game for Death to Weebs to win here.
Yeah, this could really be the push for the win right now for Taco Bell Esports Academy, because we've seen the trend for these team fights and these stalls. Basically what happens is Can't Support All is just sitting there waiting, gets a hook, gets a knock up, that person is dead. Suddenly it's a 5v4. And then it either happens again, or Fifu or Bursting Nemesis gets a tower, and then they're forced to respond from Death to Weebs. And then the 3 that are still in the mid lane get to shove that in. So with Baron buff, that pattern is just powered up to the max right there. So I'm honestly concerned for how Death to Weebs is going to have to respond to this. I don't know how well they can.
It's going to be rough because their team comp is lacking one major thing, and that's wave clear. Really, the only wave clear is like the static shift proc from Tristana. But even then, it's still really hard because they have to like put their bodies in the wave. Jace can't really do it without a good angle. Gerard has to do it by standing still, and it's just tough.
Ooh. Hook going wider, dodged by Repel, but Darth Jeeva's going to get rooted up there and killed by Metabox. Those autos do a lot of damage. Bursting Nemesis trying to survive, doesn't have the Chrono Break left. So that's going to be one going down. ET Meta barely surviving that fight. Looks like Dragon is coming out. It's going to be an Ocean Drake. Not quite Elder yet, but it's going to be a free one for Taco Academy.
Yeah, because Fifu Foam is just pushing that top lane, gets tower for free for a 1-for-1 trade. I'd say that's relatively worth for Team Taco Bell there because they just get kill trade, which is alright. By that itself, that's not really worth, but they get the tower and the dragon, which means it's super worth because they get that out of combat regeneration and a tower. Now there's an open inhib in the top lane. Oh,
ooh, hooking the wolf. Unfortunate. Gerard is really tanky there. No Last Whisper yet. Well, Last Whisper, but not completed yet for Metabox. I think Lord Dominic's regards will go a long way towards taking out Gerard at this point.
Yeah, Gerard is super beefy. He's got like 4,000 health. Just get in.
Yeah, and he's trying to pick up that Thornmail.
Yeah. He's got the Bramble Vest already, which is really good because basically nullifying some of the healing that comes out from the Vamp Scepter. And some of the Warlord's healing as well. But this Baron is relatively close to being done. So they're not using the pressure very well, minus the Kled. They decided to take a team fight, sort of, or like a skirmish on each side of the map, and grab one tower from it. But they're not putting a whole lot of pressure on. They could have just won.
Honestly, I think Nemesis should have just teleported as soon as he was up into the bot lane and gotten that Baron empowered push going, because you only have this window for a little bit. Walking all the way down to the bot lane while you're trying to get pressure on 3 lanes at once, and you're the only one who can cover bot. You'll want to teleport for that because it can end up being so much for your team. Meanwhile, wave going out. It looks like Razion's getting hit up pretty hard here. He pops the stone plate, but he's already below a third health. Matobox takes out the Nami support, and Razion is barely alive. CWL getting knocked up and interrupted constantly, and it looks like that's a 2 for none so far. Razion surviving by the skin of his bark. Wait, bark of his teeth? How do you change that? Doesn't matter. One tower about to go down. Inhib mid. Razion still a little bit low, but alive. Bot lane tower going to go down to Bursting Nemesis in a second here, while the mid inhibitor is being taken out by Matobox and Co. Are they going to go for all 3 inhibitors right now? I think they are.
All 3. I think they can get all 3 with Burning Nemesis. Burning Nemesis can easily match up against ET Meta at this point. They can grab that inhib, put the pressure down there. Meta can just try and dodge, but no, they're not going to grab that inhib.
Missing.
But now this is actually super easy for them because all that you got to do is back, reset, and there's 5-man bot side. Just grab, like there needs to be literally nobody else in this game going anywhere else. Just all 5 members bot side after you clear your own jungle, getting some extra gold in your pockets real quick. But they are now 15,000 gold behind. This game is still winnable because it's even later in the game, but it's tough for Team Death to Weebs to really pull it out from here. I don't see a whole lot of possibilities for them just because they have 2 inhibs down. Those 2 waves are going to be pushing in. There's no tower on the bot side, so it's going to be pretty tough for them to pull out a victory against these 2 super minion waves. And getting in this third one on the bot lane is going to be crucial. Defending that's going to be crucial. Getting these waves pushed out right now while they have a little bit of breathing room is super important because otherwise they're just going to lose. Like, they can't let these waves push into them. They have to be the one to engage it.
Ooh, Gerard getting a lot of damage put down onto him. Not quite enough to kill him just yet, but it looks like that could change pretty quickly. Running away into a wall, getting taken out by Can't Support All's Ignite. And that's 1 pick already made for the side of Taco Bell Esports Academy, and they're going to try and push for the win with this one.
Yeah, that's 1 member down for another 45 seconds. That's a huge death timer. It's only 38 minutes in the game. It's a 50-second death timer. So it's a 5v4, and Bursting Nemesis is just going to try and usher in this mid wave. Try and get the minions into the base faster, where Matobox can put pressure on this inhib very easily just from his basic attack range. But ET Meta is only level 16 and doesn't have the max range yet. That inhib going down so easily, it's being ushered into the base.
Final inhib is down. Super minions, 3 super minions in the base so far. A hook goes down onto CWL at a crucial time. This is not looking good. He gets away, but just barely. Nami instead is going to be the sacrifice. Hyper got Bob getting out barely. First Nemesis trying to go into Darth Jeeva's on the backline. Meanwhile, in the breast of the fight, Fifu Fum going in, doing some damage, but not enough to take out CWL. ET Meta looking to try and be the sacrifice instead, but they are just alternatively going in and out of the base. Meanwhile, their Nexus is getting destroyed. Finally, Game 2 goes down in favor of Taco Bell Esports Academy. The series is ended up at a 1-1 tie.
A well played by Taco Bell Esports Academy there, getting that tie. Very well played by them to bring it back in Game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Just 2 pretty clean games from both teams, honestly. We're seeing sort of the mirror scoreboard.
Yep.
This time in favor of Taco Bell Esports Academy. Only 3 deaths on the entire team as opposed to 2. I think that there were also 17 kills last game as well. I'm pretty sure. Someone go back and check, but not during stream because it's almost over.
Yep.
If you want to catch more Learning 5's action, we have another match tonight for NA at 9 p.m. But if you can't be bothered to remember that, you can check our Twitter, the Discord, or you can just follow the Twitch page, all of which are in the description.
Yep.
So, from myself and from Penguin God, we hope you have a wonderful evening for the EU fans and afternoon for the NA fans, and hopefully we'll see some of you in a few hours.
See you guys soon.
Showing all that I could afford. Showing how to fall into what you explore.